I hope you're well. And for those of us that are not well, I pray that God will help you and that you will find a way of bouncing back. You will find a way of resilience. And resilience is one muscle that we train, but sometimes we need for the projection to start for us to be able to kick in with the momentum. So I have prayed for you that you will get the momentum to bounce back and let life move according to how God intended it to move. All right. So welcome. This particular time, I want us to chat about something that is very, very crucial when it comes to leadership, when it comes to speaking, when it comes to addressing people. So many times, or even just connecting with people, we find ourselves in places of it feels like it's most important when we speak. Okay. And sometimes it just doesn't feel like we need to listen. Sometimes it's an ego thing that plays either with our minds. But again, we want to be able to rewind that so that we can be better leaders, so that we can be better speakers, we can be effective communicators, and that we will be understood, because communication is two-way. Communication is not one way. You're not just delivering for the sake of delivering, and then what? After you've spoken, you want to be able, the most important person in the equation when it comes to speaking. And this has taken me a different direction, but I will come back to where we are. It's the same direction, but I will come back to where we were. The most important person in any conversation is actually the one that is receiving. The one that is receiving. So now we have three elements, and those elements are the message that is being, the person that is delivering, that is the character, the posture of the person that is delivering the message, the logic of the message, all right, and then the receptivity of the person that is receiving this message. Now, what's more important in this equation is the recipient, the emotional receptivity of the audience. And the audience can be the audience of one, it can be the audience of many, but the emotional receptivity is what's most important in this equation, because your message has to land, your message has to be understood, but you cannot be understood minus connecting. We must be able to connect with them at their own level. How do we connect with them at their own level? Is by listening to them. All right? So that means it's so crucial. It's so crucial. You're not talking to people that you don't understand, even when they invite you to speak, even when you're speaking as a leader in a workplace or in a home, or even, yes, in a home setting. You have to be able to understand your people. For example, I understand my children, that when I am speaking to my children, it will be different tones, it will be different speeds, it will be different, because it is the receptivity of the recipient that matters. So my communication is not going to be full circle communication. If I communicate to Ariella, if I tell her something and she doesn't understand, it just doesn't land for her. So for her, I understood that I needed to learn her. I needed to listen to her in order for her to even understand what I'm talking about. So when I'm talking to her, I'm not commanding her, I'm not ordering her around, but I am actually contributing to a conversation, well knowing that she is a reasoning person and a very logical person. And so if I can be able to reason with her, then I will get what I want to get. Otherwise, you just can't tell her that, for example, back in the days before I took time to really study who she is, I would just send her like any other normal kid. How our parents used to shout at us, go and bring this, go and do this, go switch off the TV. And then she would look at me, and sometimes she would get lost in thought, and then she would not respond the way I wanted her to respond. It would frustrate me. And so it's after some time that I noticed that whenever I came to her and sat beside her, and was like, you know what? This is not time for TV. I think this is time for house chores. This is time for this and this. you can watch TV at this time, but right now I think the best thing for us is to be able to switch off so that we can concentrate elsewhere, and then we can come back to this later. And so it'd be like, so, mommy, you mean after I've taken my nap in the evening, I can actually? I'm like, yeah, you can actually. You will have all the time to actually watch. And I'm like, and she's like, okay. She has switched off the TV, and indeed she has gone on to do other chores to help around the house, and she's doing it wholeheartedly, instead of me saying, switch off the TV. Why do you always want to switch on the TV in the morning? Why do you want to do this and this? And she's freezing. She doesn't know what next. And even when she walks away, sometimes she will walk away without switching it off. She would go out and she would not even help. She would go out and sit either in the gazebo, or sit in the pergola, or go to the dining, or just find something else to do. Like, she is directionless. I was like, okay, so now, in order for this communication to be effective, I need to be able to actually go at it a different way. How many of us have struggled, whether we're speaking with our husbands, we are speaking with our children, we are speaking with our nannies, with our chefs in our homes, even if it's an askari. Yes, today, I was actually telling my husband, we were driving out of the home and I was leaving money because they needed to buy certain things. Now, we have a nanny, and then we have a house manager. And so the house manager, I wanted her to do certain things, but I knew that nanny would not really be happy when I tell the house manager to do it, because she feels she can as well do it. So my husband had not studied that kind of pattern. So this is what I told him when he told, you call so and tell her to not do this and this and this, so and so will come and do it. And so I was like, no, that is not how we approach it, because if I tell her in that tone, I tell her like that, if I address it like that, she's going to leave everything for the house manager to do. So the best thing is to actually show her that she can actually do it, involve her and involve the house manager so that they can be able to talk over it and plan how to handle it together, instead of sidelining her and telling her so and so is going to do it, because it's going to cause issues. Now you see, the emotional receptivity of the recipient has been taken care of, and now he's happy for the rest of the day. He's actually collaborating with the house manager. They have done good food. They have, everything is clean. Everything is in place, and it has been a joint effort, instead of one pulling out and leaving the other to die with everything else because they were told to do something that she felt she could also do. All right. So many of us have actually taken away the ingredient of listening, of observation. You listen and observe, because as someone is speaking, they are portraying a message, and that message is being portrayed in the so many facets other than just the voice. So many times we concentrate on the voice, but the body language is screaming something different, and everything else is saying something different. So I want us to be in sync, to connect before content, or connect before we speak. All right, so the connection opens the heart before the content enters the mind. Sometimes we want the content to enter the mind without any form of a knock on the door. Let's just use that analogy. When you knock on the door, someone opens, you realize the first thing is not you coming and screaming at the door and screaming your orders or screaming your communication. You knock the door and someone opens. There are few pleasantries that are exchanged. How are you? How are your people? Something like that. And they even invite you into the house. And then after you have taken time to even sit, some people even wait for water to be served or something like a juice or something like that. And then the host is also settled, and now you can open up and be able to talk to them. Just imagine if we use that analogy when it comes to communicating, when it comes to speaking, when it it comes to delivering content, to understand that there are levels, and you just don't skip levels and go to thinking that your message is going to be heard, it is going to be understood, it is going to enter the mind without the first things first. All right? So whether you're a spouse, you're a child, you're an employee, you don't just rush to speak without first connecting. Your words will hit the wall. Yeah, they will hit the door, and no response will come, or it will come and it's not the response that we're actually looking for. Because when we communicate, we are looking for a particular response. We are looking for a particular transformation. And in order to evoke that transformation and response, it must be handled the way it's supposed to be handled. So when you start with connection, the eye contact, the gentle tone, the genuine curiosity, and the other person's heart opens, then suddenly your content has impact, because their hearts were ready for it. Their hearts were ready for it. So many times, the reason most conversations fail is because we lack, it's not because really we lack the words, but because we are not observant and we are not listening. We have the words. We have, trillions of words. We can spit them out at a neck-breaking speed. But minus the observation and the listening, the curiosity to understand, then our communication is in vain. Again, we actually end up hitting the wall. All right. So I just want us to go through the simple axioms that I actually wrote down here, just to make sure that we guide this conversation and we make this conversation hit home for us. So that, number one, the impact can be that our conversations are going to change forever. Our conversations, whether with family, whether in leadership, whether in content creation, whether in brand building, whatever it is, people do not care what you have to say until they know you care. People do not care about what you have to say until they know you care. So the curiosity to understand, even when I am preparing something, even when I was preparing myself to actually do this broadcast or to do this kind of talk, I had to put you in my mind. I had to understand the emotional receptivity. I had to understand the logic of the message. And I had to understand, just to be curious, because I need to know that this is going to be impactful. It is going to change your life. So I had you in mind while I was preparing this. I was not selfish with an ego, self-engulfing and self-centered and self-involved to just think, oh, I want to impress. No, I don't want to impress. I am not here to impress. I am here that the execution of what we talk about today will forever impact on how you connect with other people and how you communicate with them, and the kind of responses and the kind of replies that you actually get and the kind of results that you get. So this is result oriented from the onset of me thinking about this particular talk and chat that we are having. It was tailor-made with you in mind. That means you are the most important person in this equation. Not me, the bearer of the message, not the message itself, but you and how you emotionally connect this message. So I am curious. And I bet by now your heart is already open, because you know that this is not about impressing, because you know this is not about me talking about myself and blowing my own trumpet. No, it is about how you handle communication going forward. All right. Okay. And the first one is connection opens the hearts before content enters the mind. We talked about that. People don't remember your words. They remember how you made them feel. They remember how you made them feel. Did you make them feel important? Did you make them feel like it's possible? Did you make them feel like it's not too late? How did you make them feel? But that means you actually were a solution. You tailor-made a solution. By the time you tailor-make a solution, it's because you have known what the problem is. And how do you know the problem? Is you listen and you observe and you respond accordingly to help, to transform. So your curiosity to investigate, to investigate, yes, to listen, to observe, because sometimes we have to read between the lines while we are listening. People do not say sometimes what they mean. They mean something else, but you can get that from the body language. You can get them from their raised eyebrows. You can get that, as in, some people do not even say the truth. You can tell that they are lying by what everything else that they are telling. So the people that we are listening to, the people that we are observing, also come with mixed issues. So that means you have to be on your A game to be able to read. You have to be on your A game to be able to investigate. Why were they defensive? Why were they non-receptive? Why were they like this? Because your next move has to be a level above that. But if you don't know, you're going to rush in with your words at the same level, not investigated, you have not listened, you have not observed, and you're not making impact, and you sound like a dish. You know these dishes, the metallic dishes that you knock on and they're making a lot of noise, and by the time someone is asked, what did they say? They're like, she talked, but there was no impact. You don't want that to happen in your home. You don't want that to happen in your workplace. You don't want that to happen anywhere in your life, even more so in brand building, because I'm into people developing and I love building brands and step by step, holding your hand to be able to build that brand. But again, a brand gets lost in message. It goes back to communication. You have to be able to have me in mind in order to get my attention. All right. So in order for us to get anyone's attention, we have to have them in mind. And we have to be able to ask ourselves whether it's actually valuable to them. Number 3, a disconnected ear cannot receive a connected truth. A disconnected ear cannot receive a connected truth. For as long as your teenager switches off, for as long as your wife switches off, have you ever told someone, I've heard? Clearly, you have not heard. Yeah? You have not. So what's going to show us that you didn't hear other results? They are going to speak for themselves and they'll be screaming so loud. It can be a person that is your subordinate at work, and they switch off. They've not heard anything. Why? Because their ear is disconnected. So even if the truth is connected, even if it's important what you're trying to communicate, but for as long as they are disconnected, you're actually not getting them. You're not getting to them. All right? And then, if you miss the heart, you miss the mind. If you miss the heart, you miss the mind. I just wanted to paint a picture of how crucial this is. The message landing, the message being received, the message being understood. You want that whether you're a business person and you're talking to your audience. You want that whether you're a leader and you're talking to your subordinates. You want that whether you're a home leader and you're talking to your children. You want that for everything, whether it's in just a relationship, a dating relationship. Once you miss the heart, you miss the mind. A manager that corrects staff without listening first. Just imagine you're backing out idea. You should have done it like this. You should have done it like that. You should have done it. But they would have had better ways, or suggested better ways. You're not listening to them at all. So instead of improving, they disengage. That's a very crucial leadership lesson. They disengaged. There is nowhere in my leadership journey where I have actually wanted the person to disengage. All the time, you want them to improve. So I have found that everyone at their level, they listen differently. They take in correction differently. And sometimes you have to sandwich it. You have to tell them of the good that they have done. Bring the bad in the middle, but show them there is room for improvement. And sometimes even end it with, being able to do it with them, or being able to appreciate them for the efforts so far done, and just showing them that if we put in just a little more effort, we believe that we can drive the point home, or we can get the result that we want. Now, that's coming from a point of listening. For example, when someone tells you the gadget was down, when someone tells you they didn't have this, and so you're able to address their need even within the correction. That means you actually took time to listen. But if you say, no, I don't want to listen to anything, I just want it done, and I just want it done, period. You're a tyrant. You're not even communicating. You're not respectful. And if you're not respectful, you're missing our heart, so you're missing our mind. All right? So, and the other thing is connection is the soil. Content is the seed. Without the soil, the seed dies. Connection, the listening, is the soil. The content, what you have to say. Remember, we categorized them into 3. Yeah? So now we're dealing with 2. The message, yeah? And then the receptivity. So if the receptivity is the soil, however good the content is, even if you drop it and you've dropped it on a rock, it's not going to grow. What we want are the results. We want the productivity that's coming out of that. We want the growth that comes out of that. So if you have an end result, you might as well be careful about the soil that you're planting into. So listening is love in action. It is love in action. A spouse who leans in, who nods, who repeats what they have heard builds intimacy beyond just words. Yeah? Even if you're a leader, when you lean in, when you nod, when you listen, it builds the closeness. And someone is able to actually be vulnerable. The reason as to why everyone is holding themselves in high regard and the egos are so high and they feel like, no. If I am actually vulnerable, I'll be eaten alive, because it just seems this is survival for the fittest, and it just means I need to fight for myself. So I'm going to fight for myself. No, if you want anyone to come down to a level of vulnerability, a level where you can work things out, a level, then you have to be very careful and to know that you're actually listening. Connection is not about talking less. It's about caring more. It's an act of caring. When you're in the workplace, there are so many leaders that genuinely ask, how are you dealing with this? How are you firing? How are you managing? Before even assigning the work, before assigning today's agenda. You know, that builds loyalty. And I've seen it so many times where my staff and the people that I work with, you know, they'll say, but she cares. I've not seen. Where I will openly hug them. And sometimes to them it's, okay, you're hugging me, okay, you're actually ordering lunch and you're sitting with me and you're eating with me and you're asking me about my life, where they can feel open to even come to me and tell me about their milestones. That feels so sweet. How do they get to that place? How did I get to be that leader? It's because I take time to invest into finding out how they are, what's happening. So now by the time they're giving me an update about their lives, it's because they know I cared before they even brought the update. I cared to ask about what they were going through and what was happening in their lives. All right. So why people struggle to connect before speaking is the rushed conversations, and these are really, really pain points that people are going through. You know, we are too busy, we are skipping the listening part and we are jumping straight into instructions. Yeah, and some of us, we carry a lot of emotional baggage. I wanted to highlight this because I know you will ask yourself, but why am I failing? Why am I failing? Yeah, rushed conversations, yes, and then self-centeredness. Yeah, some of us are just self-centered. We are focused on being right instead of being present. Yeah, I am right. You cannot tell me otherwise. I just don't want. Being present means listening. Being present means paying attention to detail. And people do not want to do that, especially the self-centered people. So we live in a generation where so many leaders are self-centered, so many content creators are self-centered, so many speakers are self-centered, and it is not helping anyone. And let me tell you, that's going to be the death of your impact. That's going to be the death of whatever it is that you're doing. The other one might seem slower. It might seem like you're taking time to check in on people and understand them and, meet them at their point of need, but it builds longevity. And it's the longevity that we want, guys. It's the longevity that we want. So many of us carry the emotional baggage, the anger, the stress, the past conflicts, sometimes not even with that particular person, but from elsewhere. So we are projecting on different people. And so it clouds our ability to connect. We cannot connect because we are so stressed. You don't do this. People will do that. Have you seen people that have hated on their fans? They have hated on their subordinates. They're like, you will help them, and then after some time they will backstab you, and then they will do this. Now, some of us are even just borrowing from other people's frustrations. It's not necessarily our emotional baggage, but we have seen it happen to another person, and because we don't want it to happen to us, we have closed all avenues of caring, of listening, of whatever it is, and now we have become emotionless. All we want are the results. And I will tell you, the results are not going to come. Then at first they will come out of fear, but after some time everyone will see you for who you really are. Okay, so connect before you speak. Connect before you deliver that content. Let it land and let it make the impact that it's supposed to create. Some of us are going through a lot of, or we perceive things through cultural lenses and the cultural conditioning that for so long this is the way we have been doing this. We were taught, speak to be heard, shout, be loud, exert yourself. While all those things are actually good, we never take time to listen, to understand. Because when you listen, you will get a totally different angle. You will see, and listening takes empathy. Guys, it takes empathy. It takes you stepping into other people's shoes and asking yourself, if someone did not give me time to actually listen to me, how will they correct me? How will they guide me? How will they help me? Minus even listening to me. So the cultural conditioning has taught us we must fight for our space, we must speak, we must be bold, we must be loud, we must exert ourselves. And so we have ended up doing that to no end. It becomes a hamster wheel. Yeah, it becomes a cycle of failed leadership, of failed delivery, of failed everything. Instead of coming to a halt and a stop and asking ourselves, we are working, I am working with this person, yes, being loud is something I can do, but in this particular situation, do I need to be loud? In this particular situation, do I need to cough out orders? In this particular situation, do I need to come to the table and work together with them, collaborate together with them for the results that we actually want to be able to get? That is a person who thinks in the moment. That is a person that is flexible. That is a person that is understanding, and they have empathy in their heart, so they actually care. And then we have so many distractions happening in this digital space these days. The phones, the TVs, the social media. It's just taking our complete attention every time you're on phone, while you're even giving orders, while you're even some of you are on phone while you are delivering content, some of you are on phone while you are in leadership meetings. You are distracted left, right, and center. So you make people feel invisible. And people want to feel heard. They want to feel seen. I have seen this in my whole journey of mentorship, of speaking, of changing lives. That people, they don't care where you come from, how much money you have, how much success you have. But they care to know that you actually care. The moment and it can be felt. People, they will feel it. They will feel it in your tone. They will feel it in your voice. They will feel it in your actions. They will feel it every single moment. All right? So I just wanted us to go through this simple framework to help us actually connect. This simple framework is going to help you to take a step back and be able to deeply connect, curate your presence, and be able to decide, so that distraction does not decide for you. The cultural indoctrinations do not decide for you. The self-centeredness, the fatigue that we talked about, all those things that we talked about as the pain points, the things that are standing in a way to connection, they will not be able to have a right, or even just to cloud your judgment, okay, in the way you communicate. And it's a simple roadmap that you can apply immediately. And here C stands for create the presence, okay? Put away the distractions. Have the eye contact, the body language that is open. Make sure that you are quick to listen and slow to speak. Like James 1:19 says, quick to listen but slow to speak. So create, redeem. Even when the digital distractions are trying to take away, put away everything else and try to connect. You're not going to impress us with the so many gadgets. You're not going to impress us with whatever it is that you have. The only thing we are looking for by the time we are listening to you is we want value. So can you deliver that value in a way that value can be understood? I believe that's going to help you so much. Let's go to O. Open the heart. Start with empathy, with a caring gesture, okay? For example, when you're ending the day and the results have not been what you really expected them, I usually talk to my staff and tell them, I know today has not been that easy, but I know tomorrow we'll be able to finish up our delivery. Or be able to, as in, they feel like you consider their state of mind, you consider that they're tired, you consider, and why it's because you listen. When someone is speaking and saying, today things have been slow, or today, it's been a lot on my table, or today I've really tried, I've just made so far these templates, but I've not been able to complete. And instead of just saying, please don't tell me, I don't want the procedures of your work, I don't know what, that is not my work. Clearly, you know your docket better than me. That is why you're employed here. Some bosses, some leaders. We really have to go back and learn the power of connection. This is going to open doors to, whether you're dealing with strangers, whether you're dealing with an audience, whether you're dealing with your family, whatever it is, that even if you're dealing with a doctor, even if you're dealing with, the doctor is speaking, but you want to bring your own things because you used ChatGPT and because you heard from another doctor, can you give them a listening ear? Because even if you have to correct them, you have to understand where you are correcting from. Even if you have to be able to inform them, you have to know what you're informing them about and what their only formulated decisions are, so that you can actually help. Yeah? So some of us have actually brought ourselves to crossroads, total crossroads, in relationships, in marriages, with our children, because we just didn't open the heart. And then the N is the notice the cues. Pay attention to the tone, to the emotions, to the silence. They speak louder. Just imagine, even in the therapy sessions, yeah? But because most therapists and most coaches will think that, you know what, this one has paid for their session, so I'm just going to speak and impact them. No, that is not impact. You've not taken time. Actually, 95% of the time in any therapy session, 95% is time to listen. It's time for the other person, your client, to speak. Let them speak their hearts out, because the only way you can guide, the only way you can facilitate transformation, the only way is after you have understood the full scope of what they have to deal with. But some of us, no. Someone pays and is like, come, I show you. Come, I prove to you that I am the best in this industry. And then you will start muttering outwards. You don't know which framework you're using. You don't know which approach you're using. You've not asked them what they have already thought about, because yours is to facilitate as a coach, as a helper, as a people helper. Yours is to facilitate change and transformation. So you're not going to cough out, solutions. You're not here to actually cough out solutions. So you see, when you notice the cues, that's when you notice that, okay, this person is lying, or this person is heavy laden, or this person is burdened, or this person is tired, or this person is not sure about what they're talking about, or this person is intimidated. Whatever it is, the body will always show. All right? So create the presence. Number two is open the heart. And then number 3 is notice the cues. Number 4 is name what you hear. Reflect it back. We use it so much when it comes to coaching, that this is what I hear you say. What I hear you say is, and when I repeat it back to you, then you can correct me and tell me, no, this is what I meant. Oh, yes, that's exactly what I meant. That means you actually took care to even reconfirm that that is what you had, or whether what you had is actually right. Okay, so that's going to help us so much. And then E is engage with curiosity. The open-ended questions, yeah. I mean, you want to know more. You want to. It's not you imposing yourself and your knowledge and say, you know, if something like this, it's supposed to be like this, and then if it's like that, and then it's supposed to be like that. No. When you ask open-ended questions, you realize that people are going to give you more flesh and more meat on their responses. And so that's exactly what you actually need in order to be able to help them. So that means you're building safety and trust. And let me tell you, when someone trusts you, when someone feels safe, then you can be able to actually help them. You can be able to speak to their lives. The content will be able to penetrate their minds, and you will get the results that you actually need. All right. So that is E, engage with curiosity. And then care. C is care before correction. Before you advise or correct, first affirm. Understand why you felt the way you actually felt. All right? So the moment you show someone that, I understand, I understand, they're like, okay, that means it's not as bad as I thought. Why? Now they understand that you actually care. They are humans. They can err. They can make a mistake. And so by showing them that you understand, then the next time they're doing a task, the next time they are executing something, they will be on their A game. Why? Because now they know that the person they're doing it for, or the person they're doing it with, actually cares. All right, so make sure that you take these into account, whether you're dealing with a spousal relationship, a children relationship, a work relationship, but you are a leader that needs to exemplify some of these things. Yeah, you need to be able to take charge of them. And then T, transform with content. Now share your message. Because connection came first, the content lands deeply. Because connection came first, the content lands deeply. We have to be understanding. We are living in times where people feel like everyone is doing whatever it is that they want to do, and they just don't want to do any. They don't want to know, and we don't want to approach it that way. I believe there is a better way for us to actually deal with this. Listening makes people valued, and when people are valued, it creates trust. And when it creates trust, that means it creates influence. So if you want to be an influential person, do you see all these influencers that we call influencers? Do you know why we call them influencers? And do you know why we are influenced by them? They do their homework. Do you know how they do their homework? They observe. They listen. They don't just come out of the blue and just create content and just say whatever it is that they want to say and just hope that it sticks. No, they actually have a formula. They will understand that I'm a lifestyle influencer, or whatever it is. I'm a faith influencer. But they will know that I have a target audience, and this target audience are people like this. These are the problems. After they understand the problems, they seek to know that their content has to actually be a response, has to be a solution to those problems. So now they curate their content to present themselves as an answer to your questions. So maybe you're just thinking about that is why their content will be so relatable and so relevant. Why? Because they know who they are talking to. Do you think people just come out of the blue and start creating content and just become influencers? No, they don't. They know there are people that are enthusiastic about makeup, and so those are our go-to people. So that means we're going to create content that is responding to their problems. Now, we're going to deal with problematic skins. We're going to deal with acne. We're going to deal with wrinkles. But this is a content creator. So they start touching on those things because their passion is also in makeup and cosmetics. And all of a sudden, the companies and brands that deal in cosmetics are going through them. They're like, you know what, use our product. They pay them to use their products so that they can influence you into buying those products. So now they're like, remember when we talked about acne? You know, there's something I got that really has helped me. I've used it for the past month and I swear by it. And all of a sudden, they are, I mean, you're like, oh my God, drop the link. Where is it? Please plug me. Where some of them that do not even tell you that you need this, but you say, please sis, share the plug. You know, why do we ask for the plugs all the time? It's because this is syndicated. Someone sat down and thought about the consumer the consumer mannerisms, yeah, and they know the target audience. They listened. And sometimes when they ask some of these questions, you think they are random. They are not random. When they create some of these polls, they are not random. So the polls are going to give them a lot of information as to that particular cluster of people that they are serving, that they will actually tweak and adjust their products to be able to better serve you. So you see how it's going to land. They're going to make more money. It's going to be relatable. It's going to be relevant. And they're going to get money out of it. So you see the dynamic, it's actually doable, it's applicable. That listening makes people feel valued, and when someone is valued, it creates trust, and when it creates trust, that means it creates influence. Okay, so to listen is to lean in, is to make space for someone else's soul, to give them a space to shine, that, you know what, speak your heart out, I'm listening. Tell me, give me the feedback. I want to hear this. I want to know this. Then they feel like you are really, really, really valued. Okay? I want you to try it. Try it at home. Try it at work. Try it. Just get someone and make sure that you speak or you get an audience or pair up with someone and just, you know, don't interrupt. Let the person speak. Okay? Don't interrupt. Let the person speak. And after they speak, still be silent. Remain silent. You realize that they will continue. It's more like a prompt to continue speaking. They will not keep quiet. Yeah? But the moment you start speaking, it's like you're telling them, that is it. I've understood what you're telling me, so I'm just going to give you all the answers in the world. All right? So, repeat with silence, full attention, and let them feel a difference in what they have. It could be a spouse, could be your child, could be your work colleague, whoever it is. Make sure that you give them undivided attention with silence and full attention for them to say whatever it is that they actually need to say. And the reason as to why we don't feel heard so many times is because of fear. Yeah, sometimes it silences the feeling of being uncomfortable. You're uncomfortable with silence, and so you start speaking. Yeah, you feel like your mouth should be busy saying something, because have you ever seen people that dodge boredom by eating? Every time their mouth is actually chewing something. So some people, because they feel uncomfortable when everything is silent, you will see even in groups, there are some people when they see everything is silent, that's when they will start spitting odd comments and saying odd things. They are uncomfortable with the silence. So you try to fit in all the words to make sure that you occupy the space, and that is a wrong thing to do. Yeah, that is a wrong thing to do. And then some of us, we are in the fixing mode all the time. Presence plus curiosity plus repeating back what you have heard. You don't need to fix anything. You don't need to fix anything. You realize for as long as you're present, that is your only job to do. Present, listen, repeat back, make sure you have the curiosity instead of being in the fixing mode all the time. There is nothing to fix, okay? There is nothing to fix. Listen, observe, and deliver what needs to be delivered. That's going to help you on so many levels, Make sure that you create safe conversations at home, with your children, with your, this is a dynamic thing. The world is a road place. The world is a place that has broken apart. The world is a place that, it has become so hard, so hard. So many people at the verge of depression. So many people are fatigued. So many people are disengaged. They are discouraged. So many things are happening. And you don't want to be the cause of one extra, even if it's 1 extra pound of weight. Let's not even talk about kilograms. 1 extra pound of weight. People don't need that. They don't need you to project. Yeah? They don't need you to behave like you are the boss from Mars. They don't need that. What they need is being heard and being seen. That is all. We all are seeking for validation on this earth. We are all seeking for validation. And what does validation do? Is you see me and you hear me. And that makes a world of a difference, because it makes me trust. It makes me feel safe. All right? So I need you to look into those things instead of being too busy. You hear, but you're not attending to anything in particular. So many of us are like that. Yeah. So the busyness, the ego, the fear, the fixing mindset. Let's remove all that. Let's create the safe spaces. Yeah. Whether with our colleagues, with everyone else. Listen, acknowledge, and wait. Listen, acknowledge, and wait. Don't rush into filling the space with a lot of words. Don't rush. Yeah, chances are you will get to hear a lot more, you will get to understand a lot more, and then you will have a better comeback instead of just doing it haphazardly. All right, share a story. Yeah, with someone. When you share stories with someone, you realize that all you want is their listening capacity, and all you want is to be able to. I hope you can do it with someone, or let someone share a story with you, and you're leaning in, you're nodding, you're listening, and you are properly curious, that you can even tell them to backtrack. You can even remind them what they said in the last 10 sentences and bring it forward because it makes sense right now, and you ask them a little bit about that. Do you know that that person is going to lean in and tell more of their story, even what they were not going to tell? Why? Because they feel valued, they feel understood, and they feel heard. So you can try it with someone, whether it's with your spouse or children or work colleagues. Make sure that you actually try as much as possible to hold space for others. Remember, it's holding space for someone's soul to be able to do something that they feel is important. By the time someone wants to say something, it's because they feel that it's actually important. All right. So make sure that you tell people to tell you more while they are telling you their stories. Like, yeah, tell me more. Where they are concluding, you're like, no, I need to hear the full story. I need to hear the full story. Then they feel like, wow, I think this person is, they're making me feel important. And then what I hear you say, you respond it to you repeat it back to them. And then you ask yourself, how does it make them actually feel? So you realize that most people, when you ask them, how did that make you feel? They will feel so good. They will feel so good. Why? Because now they feel understood. Especially if you've been the kind that is not doing it. Yeah, you can start today. You can start today and cause a whole difference in your home. You can start today and cause a whole difference. Study the people. Listen to them, be curious, give them the feedback, or re-echo to them what they have said, so that they can know that you actually care to nail it and to understand in particular, with particular details, what exactly they are trying to talk about. All right. So content informs the content that we do, the kind of what we are delivering. It actually informs, but connection transforms. Connection breaks the fences. Connection creates safety. Connection, or even just the listening, it's therapy, guys. It is therapy. It is therapy. It heals. Yeah, not just transforming, but it heals. There's some people that have grown up in homes where it has been backing at them order after an order, as in, What they need is the softness. What they need is someone listening to them. There's so many times in my marriage, I've actually told my husband so many times when he buys something, when he brings me something, and I'm like, you actually listened. You actually listened. Yeah? There's so many times, maybe he's traveled out of the country. I don't remember a day in my life where I have bought makeup for myself. As in, when he understood that I love makeup, when he goes, he makes sure. So now I have more that can run me for the next 10, 10 or even 20 years than I even need. I keep giving away some, but it's not getting depleted. Why? Because whenever he travels, he will make sure he comes back with 10 lipsticks. He will make sure he comes back with mascara. He will make sure he comes back with powders. He will make sure he comes back with, and in my shed, to know that someone listens, that sometimes they will give you something so particular that even when you mention that you no longer want this particular thing, for example, he'll listen to me when I'm commenting about food we are eating at a certain restaurant, and I'll be like, no, I really didn't like this food. So next time he's asking, and maybe chances are that he actually loves that particular restaurant or that particular hangout. But next time, and he's asking me, where do you want to go for dinner, or where do you want to go for lunch? And then I'm tempted to mention that particular place because I know he likes it. Even when I mention it, he'll be like, but no, you've said a few times that you didn't like their food. So this is not about me. This is about you. I want us to go where you actually feel comfortable and where you're going to enjoy the food. And so, do you know how much safety that creates? Do you know how much safety that creates? Even as I'm speaking right now, I think he's the one calling. Yeah, he's the one calling. And I bet he's asking me, what do you want to have for lunch? When someone listens, I mean, he has taken all the trauma that I grew up with, and because of this single particular thing of listening, without ordering, without commanding, without wanting to feel like he's the man of the home, to want to feel like, but the softness of him listening to me and to echo back to me what I said, to see that he has understood or he has the exact point. My goodness, that is medicine to the soul. That is medicine to the soul. So, do you want to be the kind that goes puncturing people and traumatizing people, or you want to be the kind that, just like we said, that people don't remember the words that you said, but they remember how you made them feel. If they remember how you loved them, if they remembered how much you cared, if they remembered how much you listened, it makes a world of difference. It makes a world of difference. So can you be that difference in people's lives? Can you be that difference in your husband's life? In your husband's life? And I learned to reciprocate. When I learned that he listens and he wants to do things the exact way that they're supposed to be done, right? I mean, I took the cues, and so I also started reciprocating that and doing that more so. So what kind of marriage where you both into each other, the presence you have created the presence and the listening and wanting to tailor make experiences for each other. It just feels heavenly. It feels heavenly. And that is what I pray for you. That is what I pray for you when you get into a marriage. That is what I pray for you even when you get into a work arena, that you will give that and that will be given back to you, because we don't want it to be one-sided. Let me tell you, we can start a movement of people that are going to connect deeply with other people before we even deliver the content, before we deliver the leadership, before we speak into their lives, before we even deliver the transformation. Let's take care of the soil and the seeds will germinate, okay? I love you, and I pray that the grace of the Lord will cover you, and I pray that he will teach you how to connect. He will teach you how to communicate. He will teach you how to listen. He will teach you how to be a safe zone and a safe space for someone else that is brutally beaten by the world, that they will find rest and refuge when they talk to you and when they deal with you, when they work with you, and when they are in a home together with you. In the name of the Lord we've prayed. Amen. Bless you.